Good afternoon, learners. I would like to welcome you all in your first session of web designing and content management. Okay, so in this particular subject or in this particular course, we are going to discuss about what is HTML, how the CSS style sheets are going to work, what are the purpose of using HTML, different forms and different tags of HTML, and we are going to just if we are talking about the basic, then we are just going to learn about how to create the web pages. Okay, these are the things which we are going to learn in this particular subject. So without wasting much time, we will just first discuss the syllabus of this particular course, and then we are going to start with your unit number first. So at first, we are going to discuss about what is the basics of internet and web technology, how these things will be going to work, what are the different ways to communication, how data will be gets transferred, right? Packet switching, TCP/IP protocols, all these things we are going to discuss in your unit number first. Then at unit number second, we are going to learn about the basics of what is HTML. Then we are going to check some tags of HTML, about the text, link, list, how to add image, how to create table. Okay, so these are the tags which we are going to learn in unit number third. Then in unit 4, we are going to check about how the frame will work, how the image map will be gets created, how the forms will be used. Okay. Then in unit number 5, we are going to discuss about what is CSS, like what is cascading style sheet, how we can use that. Okay, for the development of different types of web pages, or how we can use a same styling for all the web pages. Okay, then we are going to learn about what is JavaScript, how to use the JavaScript in your HTML. Then we are going to check the basics of PHP. Okay, so how we can implement PHP with the HTML, how it will be helpful for us to create the backend related terms, and at the end we are going to learn about the MySQL. Okay, what is MySQL? What are the different ways we can create the databases? See, basically, what is MySQL? MySQL is simply used to create the databases. Okay, then at the end we are going to discuss about what is the content management system, like how we can manage the content, how we can work on that, and there are different websites which are help us to manage that content. So we are just focusing on one of the websites which is used mostly in the industry, which is called as a Joomla. Okay, so these are the things which we are going to discuss in this particular course. So now we are going to start with the unit number 1. Just a second. Okay, so we are going to start the unit number first, that is internet and web technology. Basically, what is internet? Like right now, what we are doing, we are using the internet, right? So for the communication purpose. Okay, so basically, it is interconnection between the network. Okay, that is called as an internet. And what is the purpose of web technology? So with the help of web technology, what you can do, you can either communicate, you can either transfer the data, you can either receive or send the data, or you can do both the things. Okay, all these things will be possible with the help of web technology. Okay, so basically, what is computer network basics? So in this section, we'll look at some basic network concepts. Okay, and the hub. Okay, what is hub? This is the central hub. Okay, as you can see that all these systems, all these different computers are connected to that central hub. Why it is necessary to connect with that hub? So that they can transfer the data, so that they can communicate. Okay, so the hub at the center of this network is a very simple piece of networking hardware. Okay, it is a piece of networking hardware which takes data from one computer in the network and pass them on to the other computer in the network. And if the network illustrated in figure, it is known as a local area network, or it is called as a LAN. It is called as a LAN. That is called as local area network. So basically, a LAN is a communication network consisting of different cables, computers, and networking devices, which are confined to a very small geographical region. Okay, you have seen the LAN network in some offices, you have seen the LAN network in college or universities, right? So this very small geographical region, such as single building or a floor of a building, okay, that are the limitations for the LAN network. Okay, so as you can see that this central hub is connected with multiple systems, right? Is connected with multiple systems. And how these things are connected? These things are connected with the help of LAN network. Why they need to communicate? Why they need to connect? So that they can communicate with each other. Okay. And remember that the LAN is having the limitation that it is only limited for a single building or particular floor of the building. These are the limitations of a LAN network. Okay. Then remember that the very important fact about the LAN technology is it is considered to be an Ethernet technology. And this technology was developed by Robert Robert Metcalf and David Box. Remember these names? Okay. They have developed this technology. Who are they? Robert Metcalf and David Box. And where they have developed that? They have developed that at the Xerox Park. Remember that Xerox is the name of the company. Okay. The boards which you are seeing at the roadside, these are not the Xerox companies. Okay. They are just the photocopy centers. Okay. So with Ethernet, any computer on the network can send data packets. Okay, can send data packets to any other computer on the network. However, no two computers can talk on the line at the same time, which means only one way signal it is, right? Only one person or one system can communicate at a time. Okay, once that system allow another system to work, then only what will happen? The another system will communicate. Otherwise, only a single system can send a data or receive a data at same time. Okay, so if two computers sends packet at the same time, there is a collision between them. Okay, and Ethernet is a technology for handling these collisions. And how they are handling these collision? By retransmitting the packets. By retransmitting the packets. Now, could you just tell me what is the meaning of packets? Does anyone aware about that? So, when a collision occurs, the packets are retransmitted after a very small random interval. Okay, and Ethernet is a very effective protocol for that, and it is easy to connect a computer into the network with the help of Ethernet. Okay, I'll just let you unmute yourself. Okay, you can now unmute yourself. Now, could you just tell me what is the meaning of packets? Because I'm explaining all these things. I'm considering that you are aware about that. So, are you guys aware about what is the meaning of packets? Just
Collection
let
of
me.
data.
Packets is not a collection of data. Okay. Anyone
Hello,
else?
yeah, hi Kiran sir.
Yes.
We can consider packets as small chunks of data, information.
Yeah, we can say that. Anyone else? What is the purpose of using packets? Anyone? What is the purpose of using packets? just those who are not having any idea. Like, I just wanted to clear few things. Just put in your chat box. Like, are you guys aware about, or are you guys from IT field or not? Okay, if you are from IT field, just type yes, and if you are from non-IT background, just type no, so that I will understand like which things I need to repeat or which things I need to explain in more detail. Okay, could you just do that one thing? Yes, okay. So I found that two of the learners are from IT background. What about the next? Okay, yes, IT. Okay, so as I can see that out of most of the learners are from IT background and they are aware about most of the things related to basics of IT. Okay, okay, just one learner is not from IT. Okay, I'll just give you an simple overview how packets will work. Just simply consider you have written this message, computer network basic. Okay, just consider that this is one of the message which you wanted to send, and you wanted to send that message to some another system. Okay, for that purpose, what you are going to do, you are just clicking on the send button. But in the background, what will happen? What it will do? It will just break that message into small packets. Okay, just simply consider that it is breaking this message like this computer word in one packet. I'm just giving you the example. Okay, it's not actually like considering the whole word in single packet. Okay, but I'm just giving you the example. Like, just simply consider computer, this is packet number one. Then network, this is packet number two. Okay, then basics, this is packet number three. So when you try to send this message, it will just divide that message into small packets, and then what it will do, it will deliver it to the receiver's end. And at the receiver's end, all these packets will be gets recollected, they will be gets rearranged, and then the receiver see this particular message. Okay, even if you are sending simple hi hello on network, or you are just sharing any email, in that case as well, what it is doing, it is just dividing that into small parts. Why it is dividing all these things into small parts? So that the message, so that the data will be gets delivered faster. Okay, that is the purpose of dividing these kind of messages into small packets. Okay, then the packet switching and TCP/IP. So establishing a connection between 2 points using a specific path on a network for a duration of message exchange. Okay, for a duration of message exchange, this is called as a circuit switching. Okay, circuit switching. So this is exactly how the public switches or telephone network will be work. Okay, and it is also referred to as POTS or plain old telephone service. That is POTS. Okay, so the public telephone system is also analog, which means that information travels over it in a waveform, right? In a waveform. Okay, this is how the data will be gets transferred. Okay, so these are the two things. One is packet switching and another one is circuit switching. So basically, what is circuit switching? Circuit switching is a big problem for computers. Why? Because their information exchanges is typically bursty rather than even and constant. The information exchange, that means the way of communication is bursty, it is not even, it is not constant. So two computers might want to exchange a file, but after that the file is exchanged, the computers may not engage in communication again. Okay, it may not engage in communication again for quite some time. So thus we call the need to exchange the data between computers discrete, and it is not in a continuous form. So What is the alternative to circuit switching? That is packet switching. Okay, which is a packet switching. So the concept of packet switching was developed independently by Paul Baron and Donald Watts. Okay, in the 1960s. Okay, then what is packet switching, which we have just discussed? To understand basics of the packet switching, just simply consider sending a letter from New Delhi to Mumbai, right? Which we have just taken the same example. Rather than sending the entire letter over a particular route, we could cut the letter into small packets, and these packets are having their serial numbers, having the addresses, and they will be sent in a particular way. That is called as a packet switching. Okay, so as we have already said, if this is the message which you wanted to send to someone, okay, this is the sender and this is the receiver, and what it will do, it will just divide that into small packets. Okay, these are different small packets, and what they are going to do, they are having their serial numbers. Okay, because it might be possible that all these packets will be received at the receiver's end in any sequence, so they need to be reassembled again so that it will display the same message to the receiver's end. Okay, and why there is a need of dividing all these things? So that your data will be gets transferred quickly. Okay, for your better understanding, I will give you one more example. Have you seen the electricity towers? Okay, these type of electricity towers, right? They are huge in size, right? They are having huge in size, and it is impossible to transfer such kind of towers by road, right? It will create lot of conflict, it will create lot of problems, right? For that purpose, what they can do, they can just cut this particular tower into multiple pieces, and what they will do, they will just deliver that tower from one location to another location. So same way, when you try to send the whole data, when you try to share the whole data, it might gonna take a lot of time, right? It will create lot of conflicts as well. So that's why that whole message will be gets delivered into multiple parts, and these parts will be, excuse me, and these parts will be delivered to the receiver's end, depends upon the way of their communication. Okay, that is the purpose of using packet switching. So the packets are having numbers, so they can be reassembled in a correct sequence at the destination. And each packet contains destination address and return address as well, which means sender's address and the receiver's address. And the packets are transmitted over the network as capacity becomes available. It is depends upon the capacity of the network, how to transfer these different packets. So these packets are forwarded across the network separately, and they do not necessarily follow the same route. Okay, it might be possible that each and every packet is following different route to reach at the receiver's end. And if a particular link of the given path is busy, some packets might take an alternative route. Okay, just simply consider this is the sender, this is the receiver, and these are the multiple routes in a network, right, to communicate. So if this particular line gets busy, what they will do, they will choose another line to transfer the data. Okay, if this line also gets busy, they will choose the different route to send the data at the receiver's end. Okay, so this is how all these things will be work, and why, so that we can communicate in a faster mode. Okay, that's why we are using the packet switching. Okay, then the TCP/IP. What is TCP/IP stands for? TCP/IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol. And what does IP stands for? What does IP stands for, learners?
IP stands for Internet Protocol.
Yes, correct. Just give me a second, learners. Sorry. Just a second, learners. Okay, so IP stands for Internet Protocol. So this is a software which will be used for the transfer of data. Okay, so as the name implies, it is responsible for assembling the packets in a correct order. What it will do, it will assemble the packets in correct order and checking for the missing packets. If any packets is missing, what it will do, it will just recall that packet. So if packets are lost, the TCP software requests the new one. Okay, it will just recall the particular packets, and it also checks for duplicate packets as well. If same data will be gets delivered again and again, what it will do, it will just check for the duplicate packets. So TCP software is responsible for establishing the station between two computers. Station between the two computers on a network, and TCP and IP software will work together. Okay, and how they will be working? They will be working with the application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and link layer. So basically, this is how your data will be gets transferred, right? Then what is the web? Like why we are learning about how the data will be get transferred? Because when we are using the web pages, in that case, what will happen whenever you are trying to communicate with the help of internet? In that case, what it will do? It will just share some data, right? It will send some request, and on that basis, what it will do? It will receive some orders as well. So basically, what is the web? It is the creation of Tim Berners, and it is based on his major insight to combine the hypertext with already existing internet. Okay, hypertext with the already existing internet. So this is the first idea of hypertext, and this term is due to Ted Nelson. So the standard way of reading a book is in a linear fashion, right? How we are reading the book? We are reading the book in a single line, right? So what we are doing, we are starting with page 1. And the concept of hypertext is also allow a person to read or explore the non-linear fashion as well. So the key concept is that hypertext contains links to another links. Okay, that is called as a hypertext. You might have seen that whenever you are visiting most of the web pages, you might have seen that some words or some images are there, or some click buttons are there. When you try to click on these buttons, when you try to click on that particular word or that image, in that case, what it will do, it will just link you with another web page. Okay, so the www, that is World Wide Web, and it will just consist of three key components. What are those? The HTTP, HTML, and URL. Okay, so these three are the important concept, and all these are developed by the Berners-Lee. Okay, all these components are developed by the Berners-Lee. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, hypertext markup language. And what is URL? What is URL? Yes, learners. You're using the URL like hundreds of times in a day, right? What is URL? What is the full form of URL? Learners. Okay, we'll just move ahead. HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Yeah. Yes, Uniform Resource Locator, correct. So HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So basically, HTTP is a high-level protocol which is used to exchange the information between a browser and a server. Between a browser and a server. So the HTTP protocol uses TCP/IP to locate and make a connection between the browser and the server, right? Whenever you wanted to receive some data, whenever you wanted to send some request, what is the requirement? You require the server. Then what you can do? You can communicate with the help of HTTP web pages. So the messages sent between the browser and the server are either a request or a response message, right? Which you have received from the server. Okay. Then what is HTML? So basically HTML is simply just consider it is used to create the web pages. Okay. So it is a language which is used by the browser to display the text graphics on a web pages. Okay. We are going to discuss about that as well, how the web pages will be work. Then URL, which is Uniform Resource Locator. So just this is simply consider that this is the web address. This is the address of your web page. If you are typing www.google.com, what it is? It is an URL. Okay. If you are typing DPOCR, COL related things, then what it is? It is an URL. So when you click on a link in a web pages, you can taken to the new location, and that link contains the URL for your destination, and URL must follow a very specific syntax, which is used in the naming and the destination related part. Okay, that is called as a URL, Uniform Resource Locator. Okay, so it is important to understand that there are important internet protocols other than the HTTP protocol. Okay, other than the HTTP protocol. So the other protocols work in much the same way as HTTP protocol. Okay, there's a piece of client software which is making request. Okay, client is making request to a server machine which is running the appropriate server software, and here are the examples of such type of common useful protocols. First one, which is file transfer protocol, which is also called as an FTP. So this particular protocol is existed before the HTTP, and as the name implies, it is a protocol for exchanging files over the internet. Okay, what is the purpose of file transfer protocol? It is used for exchanging the files over the internet. And there are two types of FTP, right? One is non-anonymous and another one is anonymous. So with non-anonymous FTP, you are required to have an account name and password on the server in order to access the file of that particular server. Okay, and when using non-anonymous FTP client software, you must provide three things. What are those? The name of the server, the account name, and the password as well. Okay, so these are the things which you need to provide when you wanted to communicate with the server with the help of file transfer protocol. Okay, then telnet. So what is telnet? So in a sense, telnet is a converse of FTP, which is your file transfer protocol. So with FTP, you are using a dumb server, and the server is only providing files. What it is doing, it is just only providing the files. Okay, and all the computing is done on the client side, means the user sent. So with the telnet, the client machine is nothing more than a dumb terminal. So you connect to the server machine, which is running the telnet software. Okay, telnet server software, and all the computing is done at a server machine. Okay, do not get confused. Remember that at FTP, what server is actually doing? Server is just providing the files. Okay, it is not processing anything, but with the help of telnet, the telnet server software is managing everything at a server side. Okay, and the user or the client, what they are doing, they are just working, or they are just a dumb server who are requesting the things. Okay, so the internet news group are a very common way of exchanging the information, and there are several news group over there on everything from archery to Zen. That means A to Z. Just simply consider A to Z. There are several news groups which will help to communicate with a different networks. Okay. Then the mail to software. What is the purpose of mail to software? Why we are using that? It is used for electronic mail, which means it is used for a email purpose. Okay, so it will perhaps the most popular internet protocol, right? Where we can use that, where we can use the internet protocol, or where we can use the email. So whenever we are using Gmail, we are using Hotmail, using the Reddit mail, Yahoo mail. So whenever we are using such type of services, in that case, what will happen? In that case, this particular protocol, that is mail to protocol, will be used. Okay. In that case, the mail to protocol will be used. Okay. So as with all internet software tools, you need client software. Okay, you require the client software and server software to use the email. Okay, to use the email. So indeed, when configuring your client email software to use program like Eudora or Microsoft Outlook, you have to provide the name of the server where you send and receive the email. Okay, where you will send and receive the email. And you can also send email using your browser and the mail of that particular protocol. Okay, mail of that particular protocol. Then the domain name. So basically, .com, .in, .web, .org, .gov, all these things are considered to be the domains. Okay, so URL name having some sort of scheme which is developed by Tim Berners-Lee, and it is very powerful. So recall that a URL has three parts. Okay, what are those? One of which is the name of the server. One of which is the name of the server, which is called a domain name, which is called as a domain name. So example of domain name is, we can say that dpu.edu.in. Okay, it is considered to be the domain. The domain name is order right to left. Okay, it is in a right to left form. So the top level domain in this name is .in. Okay, it is a .in, and the domain that denotes a country. Okay, .in means India. So what it is doing? It is denoting the country. And the current top level domains are given in a reading right to left. Okay, right to left. Okay, in this direction. So the next part of the domain name in our example is edu. Okay, so note that dots are going to separate all these things. So this is a second level domain. In this case, the domain for educational institute. This particular domain is for the educational institute. So that's why edu is used. Okay. And finally, DPU represent the name of the university. Okay, it can be anything like abc or @edu.in. Okay, so what we can say that this is the name of the ABC university. Understand? So then there comes the concept of cloud computing. Okay, so we will just keep all these things aside, like about the AWS cloud or Microsoft cloud or GCP. All these things we'll just keep aside. So, do you know a thing or do you know a software which you are using most of the time in your day-to-day life for storing your details or storing your data on a cloud? Do you know about that software or that application or that website? Yes, Azure. Just simply consider in your day-to-day life, you are not using that for your organization. Okay, just simply consider that you can use that in your day-to-day life, which is easy. Yes, Google Drive, correct. Suraj and Kaustubh, correct. So what you are doing, you're using the Google Drive, right? Which means what you can do, you can store all that data on a cloud. So cloud computing offers list of benefits. What are those? Like many of us worried about losing our documents or photos or files. So or if that computer device will be gets failed, or if that mobile device will be gets failed, or if a virus enters in that system. So like for all these things, what we can do, we can just store all these things or all these files on a Google Cloud or any cloud service provider. Okay, so when you can store all these details, all those data about your photo, your files, your systems, your videos, when you are storing all these data on a cloud, then in that case, what will happen? You can access that data from anywhere, right? What is the requirement thing? You just require the internet connection, right? So with the help of internet connection, you can just access your photos, your files anywhere in the world. Okay, so that is the purpose of using the cloud. Okay, that is the basic purpose of using the cloud. Like if we are considering the concept of cloud computing and all these things, it is a vast concept, but right now we are just considering it for a basic purpose. Like we can create the servers on the cloud as well, we can create the databases on the cloud as well, which will help us to communicate or which will help us to develop our web pages. Okay, so that's a vast concept. Right now we are just considering what is basics of the cloud computing. Okay, then the web applications. So what is the purpose of using web application, or why someone is using the web application? So the web application is used for the, or just simply consider that these are the programs, okay, or the softwares. So traditionally they have been designed to do broad intensive tasks like accounting or word processing. Okay, that is the traditional purpose of using the web application previously. So in the online world of web browsers and smartphones, apps are usually nimbler programs which are focused on a single task, which are focusing on a single task, and web apps run these tasks inside the web browser. Okay, they are running these tasks inside the web browser and often provide a rich interactive experience. Okay, so with the help of application, what will happen? You can easily communicate, you can easily work on any task, right? You can easily share the data, you can easily transfer the data. So all these things will be possible with the help of web applications. Okay. Uh, I think we should start the unit number second as well. Uh, do you having any doubt or any question about unit number one? Just let me know. Any question, any doubt, learners, so that I can start the unit number second. Okay. Those who are having any question or any doubt, just put that in the chat box. I will answer your doubts. I will solve your queries. Okay. Just a second. We are going to start the unit number second. Okay. So unit number second, which is web and hypertext markup language. One question. Okay. Are we going as per the notes provided, like point wise? I'm not getting your point. Like point wise means what you wanted to say? Notes or the books which you have received, they are having multiple points, multiple topics, right? So we are trying to cover most of the topics. Yes, yes, yes. So we are trying to cover most of the topics, and we will go by one unit. Like we have just finished the unit first, then unit second, third, and so on. Okay. Yes. Okay. So unit second, which is web and hypertext markup language. So basically, a web application involves four tiers. It involves four tiers as depicted in the following web architecture figure. So the web browsers on the client side for rendering data, presenting the code in HTML, and the web server program that generates data, presentation, and an application server program which will be computes the business logic. Okay, which will be compute the business logic. And a database server, this particular database server, what it is doing, it is storing the data. Okay, so these are the different we can say that different layers which will be used for a web architecture. Okay, so just simply consider this is your web client. Okay, this is your web client, which means your web browser. Either it is Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or whatever the web browser you are using. Okay, what you are doing, if you wanted to get some data, if you wanted to receive some data, you are going to request that, right? You are going to request that towards the web server. Okay, what that web server is doing, it is working on different scripts and the services. Okay, it is working on different script and the services, and then it will check which database it need to communicate. Okay, so it will just connect with that database, either this one or either this one, wherever that particular data is stored. Okay, and then that data will be again gets transferred to the web server end, and the web server will respond to the client end. So whenever, even if you are typing something on a Google, okay, you are just trying to search something. Suppose on a Google web page, you have just typed DPUCL. That means what you are doing, you are requesting something. That means you are requesting the details about the DPUCL. There are multiple sites, there are multiple applications, some social media web pages, or whatever the things are there. Okay, which means you are requesting something, web server is working on it, it is looking for the database. Once it get that data from the databases, then it will going to response to the, it will provide the response to the web client or that particular browser from where you are searching all these things. Okay, so this is how basically the web architecture will work. Okay, even if you are using any website, you are clicking on a single page, or you are like trying to access any web page, in that case as well, all these process will be gets used. Okay, so that is the purpose of designing such kind of architecture, so that you will understand how the web server or how the web client will be working. Okay. So the WWW, that is World Wide Web, uses this client server model, which allow millions of users to access website all over the world. All over the world. So a web server is a specific type of server which knows how to communicate with the client using the hypertext transfer protocol, which is HTTP. So a protocol is just a standard set of rules which allow client and server to communicate. So for a client and server to communicate, they must speak the same protocol, which means they must know the same language. Like simply just consider you are a person who is aware about the English language, okay, and there's another person who is only aware about the Spanish language. In that case, can you communicate with each other? Obviously not, right? It will create a lot of conflicts while communicating. So for that purpose, both of the person, or both the web server and the client server, they need to be work on a same protocol. So HTTP allows clients to request document and server to respond to those documents. Okay, so this particular person, what they are doing, they are requesting something to the web server. Okay, then that web server is looking for that document. Okay, once they get that document, it will be gets delivered on the client screen. Okay, this is how what they can do. They can communicate with the help of World Wide Web. Okay, with the help of client server model. I think we should stop here. We will discuss about these things in our next session about the static website, dynamic website, okay, coding related part, and the basics of the different tags. All these things we are going to continue in our next session. We will just stop here. If you are having any doubt, any question up to the things which we have learned, just put that in the chat box, or just turn on your mic and you can ask your doubt or your questions. I have just shared the feedback form with you. Any question, any doubt, learners? And just fill the feedback form if you are not having any question or any doubt. And if you are facing any issue, then just put that in the chat box or just turn on your mic. Okay, so I'm considering that there are no doubts or no questions from your end. Thank you so much, learners, for joining.
Thank you.
Yes.